like to call the meeting of the Plaquemines Parish Council for March 28th, 2024 to order at 2:01 p.m. Machines are open for roll call. Oh, wait, Mr. Edwards.
I did too, Mom. Went on.
Let the record reflect 8 members are present. Mr. LaFrance is on his way. At this time, we'll stand for the prayer by Mr. Champagne, pledged by Dr. Gouy.
We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially for the parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom, and we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality to all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Happy Easter to all.
You ruled me.
All right, next item, please.
Item 2, executive session, there are none. Item 3, proclamations, there are none. 4, status report by the parish president.
Mr. Hinckley. President Hinckley, my bad.
Had a meeting this week with GOSEP. They came in to discuss the long-term mitigation for the water situation that we were in last year, and just express some sentiments to them, and still pushing the fact that I feel like we're going to experience the same thing this year. If it will be as bad, I don't know, but for definitely, I just feel like Boothville Venice facility will be in the same situation. So we're working at trying to get a way to get a reverse osmosis mechanism at that plant. I know the BWR, they pull their products out, but we're also in talks with some of the other companies that supplied the machines last year. We're also, we talked about say from Port Sulphur down, doing the upgrade at the Port Sulphur facility. The same thing that we've been talking for the whole year. Either the new facility at Naomi or the upgrade at Port Sulphur, a dual feed all the way down, so that we would have multiple mechanisms and ways of getting water from the north to the south, and then if need be from the south to the north. And it's both east and west banks, with Point Lahash and also the Dalcor plant right there. Last Saturday, 4 out of 5 of the millages passed. I think what we'll need to do we do have the opportunity to put this millage back on the ballot. I guess we're looking at possibly in the fall. It's pollution control. This is, we need to explain this a little better. This is for chemicals for the sewer and water plants. It brings in about $2.3 million a year. So if this doesn't pass, then we may have to come back around and talk about user fees again, because we have to make up those that income. And on the ballot, it said increase, but back in 2020, some of you were on the council at the time. You had to roll up, and in a lot of years we always roll back because income was good, oil and gas was always doing well, so we never did have to roll up on the millages. But that year, because of the state of the parish, you guys had to make a decision to roll up to equal out the amount of taxes that you were collecting at that time. So otherwise, you'd have been like at a deficit. So that's where that increase came, and that was back in 2020. And I'm explaining this not so much to you, but to the general public, so that they will kind of grasp this and understand that this is a continuation of these millages that goes back, heck, I don't even know how long, you know. We're continuing with the conversations with CPRA and Baton Rouge on the diversion. Just feel good, but I can't get excited right now. But it's very positive conversations with them. So, and then spent some time up in Baton Rouge the last couple of weeks. Monday, it was up there, they had Coastal Day. Was able to, the governor gave his talk and was with Gordy Dove at the same time. The previous week, we were up there, Jacob, his Bill 286, where he was able to get that out of committee, and that was regards to removing the 25-cent toll on the residents of Plaquemines Parish. Even though the secretary spoke against him and recommended not to move it out of committee, it did go out of committee. It would have voted 8-1, but it's moved to the Appropriations Committee now. So they're going to have to see just what kind of monies that will mean that the state will have to come up with to offset those numbers there. And then Senator Connick's bill, Senate Bill 88, I know that gave pretty much all of us kind of heartburn there for a couple of days, but it's going to go back before the committee next Wednesday, and all of the language that regards to levying a tax on sales tax or on a millage, that has been taken out of the bill. And again, when this bill is created, this TIF is created, it's not anything new. It's in an area where industry might not exist in that area. So when there's a new project that's being considered or being built, it's the taxes that they create at that time. And what we're doing is what we're trying to capture is there's 4% of the 8.5% sales tax that goes to the state, to Baton Rouge. What we're trying to do is capture some of that 4% and keep it in our parish for infrastructure. It's the flat work, drainage, streets, lighting. And we can use that because we are, what we're experiencing with our traffic right now, because we do need to get Walker Road and the bypass bridge built. And this is a mechanism, this gives us the opportunity to do just that right there. And I also want to mention that Representative Breaux is also looking at this bill to be able to use that as leverage to help him with his efforts on getting the bridge built as well. And then I just want to say that we need to continue to work together and try to resolve and see what we can do about the RVs and the trailer parks that we're doing throughout the parish. And we need to continue those conversations and that effort there. So that's all I have for now.
Any comments from the public? State your name and address.
Good afternoon. Bill Wood Smith, 11745 Brixham Avenue, Baton Rouge. I'm speaking on behalf of President Hinckley's remarks regarding temporary RV parks and bettering Plaquemines Parish. There's a great need for RV parks in the parish, specifically on the lower end. The traffic situation in the Belle Chase area is terrible and presents a serious public safety concern. The simple solution to this traffic problem is to create adequate housing in Lower Plaquemines, which will take cars off of the road north of the plant and through Belle Chase. All developments in Lower Plaquemines will bring great benefits to the parish, specifically to people and businesses on the lower end. People residing in these developments support local businesses and shop at Freeman's Grocery Store, Port Sulphur Hardware, Dollar General. They buy gas at Gilbo's, eat at Thompson's Kitchen, and all the other businesses down there. RV parks bring substantial revenue and economic impact to Plaquemines Parish through tax revenues, annual permit fees, and revenues generated through their residents. Ordinance 2264, introduced and supported by Councilman LaFrance, declaring temporary housing need exists, approved by the council in May of 2022, allowing RV parks to be built on any zoning designation. In just the last 6 months, this council has approved 288 temporary RV spots between 11 RV parks. At the last council meeting on March 13th, Cedar Grove RV Park, 2 additional spaces totaling 11. February 22nd, First Equity, 32 additional spaces totaling 92. January 25th, High Ridge, 51 spaces. January 11th, Ken and Zen, 21 additional spaces totaling 30. Delta Distributors, 13 additional spaces totaling 15. On September 14th, Cruisers, 5 additional spaces totaling 97. John Phillips, 20 spaces. Adventure Campground, 22 spaces. And those 288 spaces are just in the last 6 months. Myself and my development business have far more experience developing and operating RV parks than any other business in the parish. Council meeting on February 22nd, just 1 month ago, speaking on First Equity's approval for a 92-space RV park, Councilman LaFrance stated, quote, "This trailer park is temporary. There is no problem with this," end quote. Councilman LaFrance has deferred me over 20 times on various issues over the past 2 years. These deferrals are clearly personal and arbitrary, with no reason ever stated as to why these matters are being deferred. I have satisfied all parish rules and requirements. I've paid my application fee, followed the government process to get to today, and to be afforded a vote. All I am asking for is fair treatment and to be afforded the same rights as everyone else who's come before this council requesting a temporary RV park permit. I implore the council to consider and vote on my item today, item 7C. Thank you. Let's power Plaquemines forward and show the public that the parish is open for business. Does anyone have any questions?
I think it's public comment, so unless if anybody has a question. No? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, President remarks. Any other comment from the public on the president's remarks? Council members, Mr. Jursich?
Yes, I totally agree, Mr. President, that I think on the, the recent election on the pollution control, we really didn't explain that one right. We needed to get out to the people better. So I hope, we do need to pass this. We do need to get this passed. I didn't realize myself exactly what it was about. But now that I know we gotta put clean water back in the water, and it's very important. Because if not, then we're going to have to find this funding source somewhere else. And I didn't know what it was about, but after, I was hoping they would all pass. It's disappointing that they didn't. But now I think the general public may get an idea on exactly we need this. So I appreciate you explaining that, and we do need to try to get it back on the ballot and explain it thoroughly so people understand it better. Another comment is, when you get to the RV park situation, we have so many people that are out of compliance right now, a lot, and more are coming every day. And my problem I have with that is people not abiding by the rules, and you got people who want to abide by the rules, go through the proper channels, but yet every day, day in and day out, I see people advertising these RV spots, and I don't think, I think they just running them on down and putting them where they feel like. And I know we're understaffed to go out and try to get it. I know, Jeff, y'all have a bunch of, and you may talk about that in your report, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. And there's one other thing I want to touch on. It was kind of controversial a couple meetings ago, was when we appropriated the money for the registrar of voters to have their vehicle. Well, I'm proud to say that when they went out and got a vehicle, we appropriated, I think in the budget, $55,000. They actually bought the vehicle for under $41,000. They picked a vehicle that suits them well. And I wanted the general public to know that I'm proud that they went out instead of using the maximum amount of funds. They went and got the best vehicle that suited them and came well under, I think we were talking 45,000 at the time. So they came well, and I'm happy for them. I'm glad they did that. You know, it shows they're good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. I just wanted to pass that on. Thank you very much.
Mr. Edwards?
Yeah. Again, I didn't understand the pollution thing, and people call me all the time about what is your vote on. I just say, I always say vote always yes when it comes to, but I just hope in the future that we do public hearings throughout the parish like we do for everything else, so the public can know what's really going on. I think we don't really do that enough. On the RV thing, I made my position clear, and I will state it again. I think we went at this too early. We didn't have anything set. When we started off, we allowed some people to have 150. It was just certain people went in, and now people want to come in. I still think at some point, I'm not in favor of doing anything until we clear it up. That's my position. But I'm only one vote. But I just think we really have to look at that because we're on damage control, on that. The other thing, Mr. President, that on the east bank of the river, we have a lot of water along the levees. I know you're coming down, you probably see in Carlisle area that we didn't have before. And I think Bill and I talked, at some point we have to look at the core, somebody going in there doing something, because we're not even in hurricane season. And that water is just sitting there, it's causing a lot of problems. So I hope that you really, really look into trying to see if we can do something to mitigate what's really going on, because all my years, I never seen it come this early and lay so long.
From the backside, I've never seen it as far up to the highway.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that, and I'm glad to hear you talk about on the industrial district thing, because there's so much misinformation around that. So I'm really glad that you were able to clear some of that up, because the rumors first was out. It's like Global Venture was going to be responsible for paying for the bypass on Peters Road. There was just a lot of stuff out there. So I'm glad you cleared that up, and I hope we still can get back to understanding what this industrial tax district really means. We had a conversation earlier today that really helped me understand it in a way where I can really sell it to people, but I hope we continue in that area. Thank you.
All right, any other comments? Mrs. LaFrance?
Yes, Mr. President, can you give us a date where we can meet with the people from Lake Hermitage? I'm being bombarded with phone calls.
No, that's fine. We, last week, we were going to try to meet with them. We had a date, but I ended up having to be up in Baton Rouge. And at the same time, you were in D.C., and I just kind of felt like I wanted you with us while we were getting together with them. So I want to get with Sean to get with you, see when you're available, where our calendars can match up. I think we want to have two meetings, probably one at Wood Park, okay, to discuss with the residents in there on the pond and the depth of that. And then we could get together with the residents back off Lake Hermitage regarding the trailer parks, the RV parks and all of their concerns with the water pressure and all. Billy and I, we took a ride back there and met with Mr. Boudreau, had a good conversation with him. But yeah, we'll get together with you. We'll get our calendars to match up and we'll make that happen.
Okay, good. Sometime next week?
Oh, let's talk about it offline after the meeting here.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna be in Baton Rouge 2 days next week, back to back, just for different meetings.
Yeah, I know it's a busy time.
Any other comments? Or,
Yeah, that's
okay, oh, that's it? Okay. Anybody else? Next item, please.
4A, update by charter directors.
Just a little bit of old business. The mulcher skid steer is back from the shop. It's ready to go. It's going to be heading back south to start back again on those ditches that they were doing. They were making good headway. It had an adjuster issue, which was causing the track to come off of it. It wouldn't hold pressure. That's all fixed. The Marshmaster, that's in. That's going to be coming to the East Bank first. We're going to try to catch that area in the Stolthaven area between the railroad tracks and Highway 39 because it's a swampy, marshy area. It's not a real big job, but because only thing they've done on the machine yet is a little bit of training. So that's a mild type of area that'll give them a little more practice before they get down in some risky areas with it. Good news, new business. We had a pre-start construction meeting this morning. The Highway 11 job, which is a little north of the Empire Bridge, all the way south to roughly around the cemetery, a mile or so below Roger Halfin, Kalamazoo Lane. That job will start 2 weeks from now on the 8th. They'll start dropping equipment on the 8th and be working by the 10th. In conjunction with that, Tire Maker Road up in Bellchase, which is long overdue to have work done, that's going to start probably a week or so after that. But the good news with that one, it's only roughly a 4-day job. We're going to spend a couple days trying to communicate with the residents on that lane because it's going to be a nightmare just getting garbage cans. The contractor's willing to even move garbage cans up to the highway for them and all of that. They've suffered long enough. We're going to try to go out of our way to accommodate them through this process. Coast Guard Road's going to be starting probably within the same time as Tire Maker Road. Within April, all of these projects will be up and running. Coast Guard Road's only going to be maybe 2 days at the most, it looks like. That'll be a quick fix. That's all I had. Any other thing we had pending, we'll follow up on it, or I'll get back to you on what those results are, whatever. I know we talked to a couple of y'all about a couple of different things that's ongoing, but that's all I have.
Hold on, yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you. Billy touched on a couple of my points, also President Hinckley. The YMCA pools, the company they did a kind of a pre-assessment this week. They're going to start on the Buras pool Monday, and as those different crews finish up, they'll switch over to the Port Sulphur pool. So those pools will get started renovations next week. I can't see how it goes much beyond April into May, but those pools should be ready to go by the summertime and by the camps. Bellchase Auditorium, unfortunately, the air conditions went out about a week and a half ago. We're running on temporary AC power now. Today, I think we got 2 more quotes, which makes 3 quotes. So we're going to move pretty quickly on that. We are working with a company that does generator preventive maintenance, and we've secured a contract with those guys, and they'll start working on. We've identified just about 60 generators throughout the parish, and we'll put them on a regular preventative maintenance schedule. RV parks, our inspectors are out, and they are identifying as many of these illegal parks out of compliance as they can. 21 orders or letters have been issued in the last 2 weeks or in the last week. They're currently working on an additional 25 violation orders. So we're identifying them. If any of you, I know y'all getting calls, please forward them to either me or the permit office. They may already have been identified, but we just want to check them off the list because one of the issues we're running into is some of the permitted trailer parks are not posting their permit. So it's wasting our time going in there during our inspection and they're already permitted. So please forward any of these complaints to us, and we'll send the inspector out there, and they'll get a letter for sure. That's all I have. Thank y'all.
Any comments from the public? Mr. Kognovich.
On the Highway 11 job, we get the mill work.
Yes. Both some bulk riprap and the overlay millings from the blacktop itself.
Hey.
Mr. Jersich.
Yes, just a quick question. You mentioned Tire Maker and all. Is it anything for Bergeron coming up?
We consider this round 1. Round 2 is immediately following those.
Okay, sounds good.
Mitch, I spoke with engineering, and I'm going to confirm that should be worked up in the next 2 months, we're hoping. Yeah, I know we've been hearing that, and
Can we do something in the meantime?
I think we can.
Gotta do something. Look, I'm telling you, they watching me right now. I gotta do something. So, and also, I think, Billy, we had talked about in Oakville on West St. Peter right there, there's a small spot right there where you get on the highway. It looks like it won't take much of something to try to work on that if we can get something done there. Appreciate it.
Mr. LaFrance.
Yes, Mr. Whistler, I sent you some pictures on Diamond Park, the water that was holding up. Did you get a chance to go look at it?
Yeah, they did go look at it, and they did clean some of that debris out of those culverts. It was the ditch. When you first sent the pictures, I thought it was the park itself flooded.
Yeah.
It was the ditch that was just
Ditch.
flooded. They did take care of that.
Okay.
I ain't gonna say it's perfect, but they did get it to flow out. Within the next day, it was all gone.
Is it possible for us to get those ditches swept?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. DeMarco, the permit office, was supposed to give me, I think give us, the council, a count of, the RV parks, the RV spots in each district. I didn't receive it yet. You know where we at with that process?
I'll get a breakdown, but what I do have is through District 7, 8, and 9, there are a total of 708 temporary RV spaces. The biggest park has a total of 92 spaces. And she did send me a message here that she's working on a breakdown of each district.
Okay, good.
What was that number again? 708.
708 temporary RV spaces between 7, 8, and 9.
I apologize for coming in late, but when I came in, I heard a gentleman saying that I have some personal vendetta against him. I don't think you could get anyone in Plaquemine Parish to believe that. I don't think you could get anyone in Plaquemine Parish to say I have any ill will towards anyone. You couldn't find a person. And if you find one, bring them up here. Bring them. I don't have any ill will towards anyone. I'm only here trying to do my job. My job is to represent District 7. That's it. I don't know you, Mr. Smith. I don't know you.
Yeah. Oh.
Again, and that item that I have on the agenda, this is the first time this item is going to be deferred. Because after the last meeting, Ms. Amitra spoke to Mr. Smith and told him that that item wasn't ready. Again, we like to know how many numbers, exactly how many RV spots we have in my district. We don't have that answer yet. Thank you.
Reverend Edwards.
Yeah, I want to go back to Billy again about the roads. We still have some roads that need to be repaired in that. And Mr. President, we had an accident a week ago. How we get some kind of lights on Highway 39, even if it's in 3 or 4 on Highway 39, because it's getting to be a serious problem with accidents and deers and stuff. So I'm hoping we can find a way to just get 3 lights, somewhere on the East Bank of the river, and the other part is just is the road.
I'll follow up on the lights, because of course that's a state highway, so that's who would handle that. And the blacktop repair work, we got that on the list, but the same guys have been taking care of those ditches for you. They've been busting butt trying to clear those ditches, and there's some bad ditches. As soon as we get cleared up with that, same people's got to do it, so they'll move on to patching up some of those. The couple of little potholes we did, those was just, we had the whole different department go drop those little bags in there to do those. But the medium size ones you're talking about, we'll get those with that bulk material.
I want to go back to, are you saying earlier that washing machine, is that the one that Hammer order is in?
Yes.
right? And you're saying that you're right now putting it at Stoke Haven to test it out, and I wonder why you selected Stoke Haven.
Because that's one of two spots that we identified on this side that's marshy. It's a marsh buggy, so,
Okay.
we don't go down a flat, hard surface cutting grass with it. It's a marsh buggy, right? So that's in sloppy, wet areas. That area, little north of Stoughhaven, little, I don't know if that's north or south, but going towards St. Bernard Parish, that whole area between the highway and the railroad tracks is like a swamp in there. So you
Okay.
can't get in there with a tractor. Same thing would be from White Ditch south to that area you were talking about with the water out by the highway.
Okay.
That's a marsh area. We have one identified in the Bell Chase area, which is across the highway from Chevron. Same idea. Very marshy. That's what you need it for.
Well, it was my understanding, maybe I'm wrong, that I thought the marsh buggy was gonna be able to use for like vegetation area, like the area behind Brickway Park. And I know Mitch got something out there somewhere about vegetation, right? Yes or no? And I just wanna make sure, we get it there before Mitch get it down there and break it. So, could you tell me whether we can use maybe before you leave Soak Haven, see if Brickway could be a testing ground, because we don't want to experiment it with down there by Mitch.
So two things. You're talking about the pond and the lilies. A little bit of a misconception at the early on when that project, that piece of equipment was brought on board. The thought process was you can just put it in any pond, no matter how deep it is, and push lilies wherever you want. That's not how this machine works. It has to be shallow water. It has to be basically the depth of the pontoons. It's not a boat that runs around pushing lilies. But we'll do the best we can with it, where we can use it.
You done, Rob?
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Champagne?
Yeah, Mr. Witches, you spoke of some road repairs, and we've gotten together and all agreed that we have to prioritize this stuff to make sure we take care of the public. I just want to make sure that, Avenue M and that whole Southern Oaks is part of Phase 2.
Part of that round two, correct?
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Mr. Skognovich?
Just to piggyback on what Reverend Edwards said about the lights. And I see it on the news all the time. New Orleans is complaining about 45 lights out on I-10. Well, I got over 100 out that I've been calling Energy for the last 5 years. I went out and put flagging tape on every pole, and they rot off. So I'm tired of calling them.
But we'll follow up. Look, Jeff fights that battle all the time too with Energy, especially up in the Braithwaite, Highway 39 area. Look, these other agencies, their urgency is not the same as Plaquemines Parish government, I can tell you that. And it's no knock on them. They have a list of priorities. We're just not at the top of it. But we'll keep pushing them to get something done.
Thank you.
Mr. Newsom?
I'm gonna end this, just one, thank you, Mr. Chair. So the poles, and y'all might explain to me, aluminum poles in the neighborhood, is that the government or that's government? Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Next item, please.
Five, bids and advertisements. 5A, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing oil, grease, lubes, etc., for a period of 6 months for use parish-wide and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I'll offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurisich. Any comment from the audience? Administration? Ms. LaFrance?
Yes, why are we doing this for 6 months?
He's asking why are we doing this for 6 months? Grease.
They usually be done for a year.
That's the bulk purchase we're talking about? That purchasing just does it that way. I'm not, I don't know if because the prices change that frequently, they don't lock it in. I'm not sure. I could find out for you, though.
Okay.
Any other comments? Machines are open. Oh, Ms. Edwards, I think you double hit it. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
6, beer and liquor licenses. 6,
Oh, hold on, before we go there. So, we talked about last time putting them on the agenda. That way the public is aware of what's going on, but also any special event permits, we need to have those in by our deadline as well going forward. We're going, try to get everything on the agenda for the public can see. So if you have special events going forward, please talk to your constituents. That way it's on the agenda.
And I have patience looking up one right now.
Well, no, for today, we're fine, but I'm just saying going forward, let's try to get everything on the agenda properly for the public. All right.
I thought you could hear real good. You heard me talk.
Oh, no. All right. All right, the deadline is Friday, close of business, correct? So that way it can be on the agenda, formatted, everything for the meeting on Thursdays. So let's try to do that. All right, continue.
Read his.
Well, go ahead, we'll get his last.
Rotolo's 102 Woodland Highway, Belchase, Louisiana 70037. Happy Land 35949 Highway 11, Buras, Louisiana 70041. Happy Land 2 27910 Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana 70083. Jesuit Bin Market in the Park 12888 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana 70037. Jesuit Bin Market in the Park 12888 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana 70037.
If you have a special event permit, go ahead and key in. Two different, all right, I don't know. I will, different events, two different ones, I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have one, Operation East Bank Softball Sundays. And it's from April, it's every Sunday from April the 14th to August the 24th.
All right. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Council, table? Machines are open? Oh, wait, I need an offer in a second, sorry. Offer by Ms. Skyrmich, second by Mr. Jursich. Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please, we'll take A1 and 2 in Globo, and we'll go from there.
Construction permits, Gulf South Pipeline Company LLC, application number 2024-228, application date 3/7/24, proposing to repair 4 anomaly along their existing 16-inch diameter index 293 Pipe River O'Shanes and Lost Lake. Councilmember Edwards. Texas Petroleum Investment Co., application number 2024-238, application date 3/11/24, proposed well location and flow lines for the SL 1998 46 offset 1 4-inch flow lines and 1 2-inch flow lines, Breton Sound Field P. Councilmember Edwards.
You offer, Ms. Edwards? Yeah. Offer by Ms. Edwards, so I have a second? Second by Mr. Jursich. Any comment from the audience? Table, or administration? Table, machines are open. Passes 8-0 with one abstention from Ms. Skyrmich. Do you have any deferrals on the remaining 7, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I? Any deferrals on this? Oh, yeah, you have you defer, which one?
B.
B, yeah.
B, I defer.
Yeah, so B will be deferred. Any other ones? C will be deferred. Any other items being deferred? All right, we'll take the rest and whoops, go ahead.
I'll let Mr. Smith know. I'll be ready to move on that item at the next council meeting.
Can we speak publicly right now?
That item has been deferred on that item. I said, I'll
Correct.
move.
It's deferred on that item. Sorry. All right, so we'll take D through I in Globo.
Deep South RV Park, Norma Valiant RV Park Renewal 32368 Highway 23, Empire, Louisiana. Southern Oaks Mobile Home Community Incorporated, Thomas Gorman Trailer Park Renewal 300 block of East 3rd Street, Belchase, Louisiana. Live Oak Belchase MHP LLC Trailer Park Renewal 11822 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana. Edwin Salvin, new trailer residence in FP Zoning District 136, Cazenave Street, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Pearl Silv, new trailer residence in FP Zoning District 113, Johnson Street, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Kyle Rockefeller RV Camper in FP Zoning District 110, Deer Road, Port Sulphur, Louisiana.
Offered by Mr. Jurisic,
Second.
second by Reverend Edwards. Any comments from the audience? State your name and address, please.
Billwood Smith, Brixham Avenue, Baton Rouge. For what reason is item C being deferred?
It's not on, we can't, once he defers it, you can't speak
I'm
on
commenting
it.
on the construction permits.
I mean,
My item is being deferred for no reason, time and time again. It's like time 25. I'm owed a response. I mean, this is
I
just
don't
general
know.
courtesy.
He's the only one that can comment on that. I mean, unless people
Mr.
want to comment, but
I said, listen, this item will be voted on at the next council meeting.
For what reason is it being deferred today?
Because I haven't had chance to speak to my constituents in my district. Because I was in Washington DC for a good amount of time in between that, and that's the reason.
There's no neighboring opposition.
sir, I'm sorry. I
that is
understand
not
you're
correct.
frustrated, but once it's deferred, we really cannot. Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Were you queued in for something else, Mr. France, or?
Yes, I
Okay.
just want to say that item G and item H are mobile homes, and those mobile homes will be elevated.
All right. Any other comments from the floor or table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The following are for Councilmember Schultz. An ordinance seeking authority to settle a workers' compensation claim to amend the 2024 operating budget, self-insurance fund, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2024 manpower structure, Judges Division A Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2024 manpower structure, operating and expenditure budget, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution confirming the recommendation of the parish president, W. Keith Hinckley, for the appointment of Ashley Morrison as Director of Arts, Parks, and Recreations pursuant to Article 5, Section 5.01 of the Charter for Local Self-Government for the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution of the Plaquemines Parish Council, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, supporting Woodlands Conservancy's plan to establish a coastal forest center on Woodlands Preserve and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing the parish president or his designee to institute litigation and ratifying any existing litigation relating to the various waterline breaches and other damage to PPG infrastructure which have occurred on or near Highway 23, and to hold Cox Communications, Inc. and/or its duly authorized contractors and subcontractors accountable for all damages associated with their activities in Plaquemines Parish, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance approving a perpetual servitude of use over PPG property adjacent to the school bus barn on F. Edward Hebert Boulevard, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And finally, a resolution supporting the adoption of Senate Bill Number 88 as amended in the 2024 regular session as proposed by Plaquemines Parish Government and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The following two are for Councilmember Gooey. An ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property of concession front portion subdivision, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on a map of re-subdivision, lots 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, Square B into lots 19A and 23A, Square B concession front portion, Belchase, Louisiana, by Dragon Limited, Inc., dated January 4th, 2024, the owner having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the Parish of Plaquemines without cost to Plaquemines Parish Government or the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2024 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And the final one is for Councilmember Konovich. An ordinance to name the Belchase Government Complex Pavilion, the Amos Cormier Jr. Pavilion, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Skagnovich asked if we could go to 11D. Correct. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Wait, she has to read it. And then okay.
District 9 update, Carol and Rhonda Arsenault lawsuit.
All right, Mr. Skagnovich.
They contacted me wanting to come before the council to address their situation, so.
State your name and address, please. I am.
Rhonda Arsenault and Carol Arsenault, 142 Commodore Lane, Buras. I want to address the ordinance passed, ordinance number 20 through 105. It was passed in October 2020. Okay, I don't agree with this. I think this is a way of the parish stealing money from people that has won a judgment. How can you ask someone to give up half of their winnings when they have to live off of that for the rest of their lives? This has been going on 16 years, this September, okay? 16 years. It's enough. It's not fair. It's not right. I don't think one of y'all would give up half of y'all salary.
Exactly.
You know, I don't care where the money comes from to pay me, to pay us, because no one asks us when our bills are due where we getting the money from to pay it. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of all the runaround. And I think it's time that y'all do what's right and pay us our money. We've waited long enough. And this ordinance, it's not right. You need to really read it.
Take it off and get us paid.
Read it.
It's
Really read it. Don't just,
I mean, can any of y'all afford to give up half y'all salary every month?
no.
Can y'all?
And my husband, it's not like he can just work off his disability. He can't go back to work. He can't. My mother died last month. Who had to pay for the funeral? I had to borrow money for that. I had to borrow money, me, okay, from somebody else, knowing I have money sitting on paper that's not even given to us.
And the worst part, 16 years ago when I fell in this hole, Parish knew about it. They took pictures of it, okay? That's how we knew it was y'all fault and the state's fault.
And the biggest part
We
is,
covered that hole and I never felt it.
the biggest part is, it could have been settled out of court for $200,000. You paying interest on something for 16 years at $183 a month right now off of the settlement. Y'all can stop it. Y'all can claim no money, pay what you have to pay the judgments, forget this stupid ordinance, and be done with it. That's it. Thank you.
You got any comments, or that's it? Anybody has any comments? Mr. Jurisic.
You know, I've spoken with Mr. and Ms. Arsenault several times about this, and, you know, as I told them, this is something, you know, most of us inherited, and it's, you know, I look forward to the day we can clean a slate of all of this and move forward, because I believe, you know, there was damages done, and we definitely need to look at how we can get around and get past this and move forward, and let's put this behind us one day. I hope that we can come together and do so.
Any other comments? All right, we'll go back to 9. Well, I'm gonna make a quick comment. When I took office, y'all sat down with myself, I think you, Mr. Champagne, and you, Mr. Newsom, and y'all gave us the whole background. I agree with Mr. Jurisic. We need to kind of see what we can do to kind of move forward and we'll sit down, maybe Ms. Cognovich, you join that meeting and see what we can do with what we have. Mr. Burris, maybe you can join us on that meeting once we set it up. All right, we'll go back to 9. I'm going to read out the deferrals. If you have any other ones, please let me know. All right, 9A1 being deferred, 9A3 being deferred, 9F as in Fox is being deferred, 9H, 9I, and 9J are all being deferred. 9Q will be deferred. 9O will also be deferred. Any other deferrals or withdrawals? Yeah, I'm going to run it through one more time. 9A1, 9A3, 9F, 9H, 9I, 9J, 9O, and 9Q are all going to be deferred.
We also have a withdrawal.
All right, which one?
That is 9U. It was inadvertently introduced.
Oh, I have that on my, 9U will be withdrawn. Everybody good? Good. All right. Next item, please.
9A2, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision lots 10 and 11, Square 5, Village of Ironton, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 7, T16S, R25E into Lot 10A, Square 5, Village of Ironton, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Section 7, T16S, R25E, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering Incorporated, dated November 1st, 2023. The owner having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish Government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
So offered.
Offered by Ms. LaFrance, second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? From administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of Don Mills property, Boothville, Section 35, T20S, R30E, Southeastern District of Louisiana, west of the Mississippi River, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, into lots DM1 and DM2, Boothville, Section 35, T20S, R30E, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering Incorporated, dated July 12, 2023. The owner having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish Government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Offered by Mr. Kognovich. Second by Mr. Jurcic. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
B, a resolution authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to enter into an agreement with Capital Area Finance Authority for the purpose of allowing low and moderate income borrowers of Plaquemines Parish to participate in the authority's program of financing home ownership, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I'll offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Champagne. At this time, I'd like the ladies from Capital Area Finance Authority to come up and just give an overview of what this does, what it does for our community and everything. State your name and address, please.
Kristen Delahousie, 601 St. Ferdinand in Baton Rouge, and Bridget Homer, 15033 Reveille Avenue, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We are the Capital Area Finance Authority, and what we do is we partner with lenders and realtors in order to offer down payment assistance for those borrowers that just need a little help getting into a home. Home ownership might not be available to them without this particular program. We partner with the parish in order to offer these particular programs. And in doing so, we offer continued education for these home buyers so that they understand the process of achieving home ownership. We're asking to participate in your parish. I think you currently do with Jefferson as well. It's a similar program. We are currently in 61 parishes offering this program and just asking to participate with Plaquemines as well. Go ahead.
I was just going, can you hit on that? It's no cost to the parish or
There's-
anything. It's
yes.
just a complete
There's-
benefit for our residents to take advantage of these programs.
100% no risk to the parish. We assume all of the risk with this particular program. Sorry. Thank you.
And the capital region, so we're in East Baton Rouge and then the 8 surrounding parishes. So we do need the cooperative endeavor agreement signed from the parish to allow us to come in. And again, no risk, it's just a benefit. And I mean, we have been doing this for 7 years in other parishes. In 2020, we were able to really expand our footprint. And that's when we got into the 61 parishes. So the only parishes we're not in are Orleans and Jefferson.
All right. Does anybody, before I open up back to the public, does anybody from the council want to ask questions to Ms. LaFrance?
Yes. When you say home, is mobile home included?
No, we do manufactured homes, and that's not a CAFA overlay. That's not our organization overlay. That's these lenders that are participating in the program.
So manufactured home is included?
Yes, manufactured homes are included. Condos.
Also elevation?
I
Do you
don't think there's
understand
an
what-
overlay for that.
'Cause most of the homes
Yeah.
on the have to be
Yeah,
elevated.
yeah.
Is elevation included?
I would think so. I'm not sure about
You're
that,
not
but
sure.
yeah. I mean, if they're doing loans here, are they, if they're doing loans here, then they'd be able to do that. We won't have an overlay with that. CAFA wouldn't have an overlay with that. So if they're loan officers and lenders that are doing that particular loan, and we partner with VA, rural development, FHA, conventional. So we do all the different, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac.
That's all included with the conventional.
At what interest rate?
Well, right now we have a bond that we just issued because rates are so high right now. So the rate is going to be fixed, and if you're doing a conventional, it's 6.98. If you're doing an FHA or any of the government loans, it's 6.58. So it's below interest rate or below market rate. And that's why we issued this bond. That's what everybody in all the housing finance organizations that are doing these down payment assistance programs, we're sort of needing to pivot from the particular programs that we already were doing and issuing a bond.
There are two programs, though, just to be clear. There's one that we have that you do not, on the bond, you do have to be a first-time home buyer, and that's with the fixed rates. I will say that. We have multiple programs, though, that we can offer as well. There's a program that basically it's based off of what the market is. So we would like to offer both in this parish.
And I will say, right now, I was talking to a lender yesterday, and she was trying to sign up to be able to offer these programs. And I was telling her what the daily rate was on the program that's not the bond, and it was at 7.2. And she said, well, gosh, I can't get this borrower under 7.7. So this is, even our programs that aren't the bond with the fixed rate that are below 7 are still doing well, are performing.
So the 2.9 is over with.
Oh, that we were sad about that.
So what are the requirements?
So the requirements are you have to have a 620 credit score, these are all requirements that are, sometimes people can get in our programs that can't get in a regular program. 620 credit score, there are income limits or income restrictions. I don't know what it is for Plaquemines Parish, but I think it's in the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement. Now, in our programs outside of the bond, it's just qualifying income. So if you have 2 people living in the household that are working and you can qualify with just one, you can do just that one. But with the bond, it's household income, just as it is like with rural development.
55% debt to income ratio.
55%. So they'll, and we don't do this, the lenders do this, but they look at the debt to income ratio. And these are typical requirements to do just a basic, a loan. And these loans are normal loans.
It's just that they add this down payment assistance that if they're partnered with us, they can offer. And just to let you know, you can get up to 6% on the final loan amount. So if you're doing a loan, you need at least 3.5% to put down, plus you've got closing costs. So this is where it makes it really hard for these qualified buyers, especially this working class, that they're qualified, they've got the credit score, they meet all the requirements. It's just that not a lot of people have $16,000 in the bank ready to close on a loan. So this is where this program has really been helpful to our communities that we're servicing.
Do you have to be a property owner or
You do not.
some of the money can be allocated for the purchase of property?
No, this is just strictly down payment assistance, and it can go to closing costs, down payment assistance. Let's say you had to get an appraisal, or, most of the time you're getting an appraisal, unless you're paying cash. Inspection, there are what we call prepaids, and that can go toward paying that back. Now, let's say you got 6%, you only needed the 3% to put down, but you got the full amount. You can take that and apply it to the principal. So in a way, I guess, it wouldn't be going toward the sale of the house, but the sale price, but toward the principal of that loan.
But this is it's a single-family residence is what we consider, so it is for the purchase of home ownership. They have to occupy the property for our program.
Is there a limit?
There are loan limits, and we follow FHA and conventional. So whatever those limits are, and they change at least once a year. So we follow those.
No jumbo loan?
No jumbo loans.
You have a website?
We do.
Just Google?
Yeah, it's www.thecafa.org.
You have a card?
I don't think I brought a card, but she might have one. I have one in my car. But all of our information, if you want to get in touch with us, it is on the website. And again, I just can't stress, this is not a risk to the parish. We are doing a tremendous amount of business all over, just outside of our footprint.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Bridget mentioned earlier, when we get into these parishes, for instance, we were up in Bossier 2 weeks ago. We worked with a realtor and a lender, and we did a first-time homebuyer seminar. We go to Ruston next week, or in 2 weeks, and we're doing a training for realtors, so the realtors know what they can offer their clients. So we come into the parish, and we like to work with the local government and do different educational pieces, because...
And let me ask you, and if I was to have a town hall meeting, and you would be available, you would come in and do a presentation?
Absolutely. We would really like that, yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, they have, the queue got cleared out, so if you had questions, key back in. Mr. Newsom.
Yes, thank you guys for coming. Just one question. When you talk about, in here, it says to provide assistance and closing costs, where does your funding come from?
Our funding comes from the, like on our TBA loans, the rates are going to be a little bit higher. And that's how it's the spread on the rate that we are able to generate this. So, a bond is going to be a pot of money that we've gotten, and we issued the bond in December, $40 million. Once that's gone, it's gone. But the sustainability of those other programs is just a little bit of the rate that's inflated to make the spread on the rate, which is still 7%. Again, this woman that was talking to me yesterday, it was, 7.7. So. But that's how we were able to do those TBA programs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for these ladies?
Mr. President, this will go through the administration to set up providing space like the community center so that the general public could have more information in the future like we've done with most other agencies, right?
Well, they're not needing space. It's just a resource that they can contact them and see what programs are available. But if, like Mr. LaFrance said, to do training ceremonies, we can get them space. Correct.
Yeah. That would be great. We've done that in St. John Parish. They were able to, Jacqueline Hotar was able to help us kind of bring the community together at a certain spot. So we can go out and do this, but if we have the participation of people that are going to help us in the community, and we lean toward the lenders and the realtors who we're working with to do that. But if y'all have any ideas, we're happy to
Come in and tailor that to meet your needs.
yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank y'all. Any other comments from the audience on this? Mr. Tesevich? Please state your name and address for the record.
Nico Tesvich, original address Bellevue Drive, Port Sulphur, current address 724 Oak Tree Road. Pleasure to speak to y'all tonight. Did a little research on these ladies and their group on my phone while I was sitting in the audience just now. Wanted to make a point of information to the council. They're in every parish in Louisiana except for 3, Plaquemines, Orleans, and Jefferson. So if they're doing something in every other parish, they must be doing something right. I think we should give them a fair shake. Thanks.
Correct. And I think when we met, y'all said y'all originally met back in 2020 with the council or certain members, and
The
then
Thursday
COVID hit.
before-
So,
March
so
12th.
COVID kind of messed everything up. So they asked for a meeting with a couple of us, and we met and went through everything and passed it on to legal for their review, and that's here where we are. Ms. McCarty.
I think this is a good resource, but I just wanted to ask, for what reason are you not in Orleans and Jefferson?
So Jefferson Parish and Orleans have their own, they have their own local finance authority. And because of that, they see it as competition, I guess. We used to be with Jefferson Parish when they had their own program and we had a program that was different than theirs. We collaborated with them. Once they got the programs that were similar to ours, the other thing with the CEA, if there's ever an issue, you can just say, you give us 30 days and say, this is not working. But that's why. And we still collaborate with and do marketing things with Jefferson, kind of come together as 2 local finance authorities that, go into the community. Orleans, the same thing. They have their own Finance New Orleans, used to be FANO. They have their own programs. And there are other local finance authorities out there like St. Tammany, Calcasieu, but they don't have a staff. And so they're like, y'all can come in and do this because we have a local finance authority, but we just don't have a staff doing these programs and they don't offer them. So that's the only reason why we're not in Orleans or Jefferson.
And just a security question. If you were to default or run out of money for sponsoring these loans, would you have to sell, and then would the interest rate increase for the homeowner?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
All right, any other comments from the audience, administration, council? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Look forward to working with y'all.
Yes, ma'am. Next item, please.
C, an ordinance to amend and as amended readopt section 942, 9617, 9834, and 9122B, and reenact chapter 9 of the Parish Code of Ordinances relative to floodplain management regulations as required for participation in the National Flood Insurance Program of the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurcic. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rennie, this is just based out from FEMA's visit, just updating our policies and everything to floodplains and.
Yeah, we haven't updated this in a long time, and we just had that CAB audit through the FEMA process, and they wanted us to beef up our enforcement language a little bit, and so that's all that's changing.
All right. Any comments from the audience? Mr. Brock? State your name and address, please.
Clarence Brock, 156 Enos Camera Lane, Phoenix, Louisiana. I said you're gonna update it. That means it's gonna get worse, because it can't get no worse. I'm just for sure. The floodplains, FEMA saying that we gotta do different things? Or-
The standards aren't changing. It was just some tweaking of the enforcement language, that's all. And it's required if we want to participate in a national flood insurance program, so.
Okay.
Like elevation this isn't about elevation, this isn't about zoning or anything. This is strictly about putting a little more teeth into the enforcement provisions.
Okay, all right. But when you say floodplains, I thought you was talking about you're gonna get us some new floodgates and you let the water out, things like that.
Yeah. Any other comments by the audience? Administration, Mr. Gui? Dr. Gui, sorry.
Just one, and this is a general statement about digests. We have gotten very lax in explaining what the legislation pertains to. We wanted the general public to be able to read a digest and get the gist of. And that, so whoever writes the digest, just be aware of that we need to tighten it up a little bit. I yield.
Any other comments? Machines are open. Passes 8-1 with Reverend Edwards voting no. Next item, please.
D, an ordinance to amend the 2024 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, Public Health Fund Mosquito Control Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer. Ask for a second. Second by Mr. Champagne. This is moving one truck driver from part-time to full-time because the need is there and all that, correct?
Yes, sir. Obviously, it's a new position and it'll have to be posted, but we'll have the gentleman go through the application process.
All right. Any comments from the audience? Come.
Clarence Blocks, 156 crossover land, East Campbell land, Phoenix, Louisiana. The question is that person going to be put where? What location when we do hire someone? The lower end?
Where mosquitoes at?
Wherever we have a gap.
Yes, sir. So it could be used both sides of the river?
Yes, sir.
Right. We need more help on our side. The mosquitoes last night, oh man, it was terrible. We could use the help. And also the airplane, because the water side the road, it's drawing mosquitoes like crazy. Last night, I guarantee you, I saw over 1,000. That one man we really need that one man. So wherever you go at, we need it.
We do have a crew that treats the ditches and the standing water, and they're out 5 days a week.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
And the plane should be flying this year because it's repaired from last year. It was in maintenance and everything, but it's repaired and ready to go for this year. So the plane will be flying this year.
All right, we definitely need it because going north from Phoenix to White Ditch, the water's there and mosquitoes they're breeding big time.
Yep. Any other comments from the audience? Ms. Skognovich?
I know we're gonna hear about it, but I'd like to put a siren on all the trucks, because last year I had somebody in my yard complaining I ain't never seen a truck when one was driving by.
Any other comments? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
E, an ordinance to amend the 2024 Library Service Fund, operating expenditure budget, Libraries General Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer. Ask for a second. Ms. McCarty, seconds. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Yes, this is out of the library fund. 9-0. Next item, please.
F is deferred. G, an ordinance to amend the 2024 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer. Ask for a second. Second by Ms. McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Mr. Edwards, Reverend Edwards.
But respecter,
So you want me to go over what they all are?
yes.
We're hiring 2 inspectors for engineering. Basically, any major job going on needs an inspector on site, so that way we can get some of these jobs done. The secretary for recreation, there is no secretary in recreation. They're all workflow coordinators or the superintendent, and they're always out in the field. And basically, when people call, there's nobody answer the phones. And then the solid waste is a truck driver, right? Yes. Yeah, and that's coming out of the solid waste fund.
Oh my God, do we have funds already designated for this or this? Whether,
The solid waste will be coming out of solid waste undesignated fund, and then the other 2 will have to come out of emergencies for it. But, I mean, we don't have anything else at this point. But, and then to get projects moving on the, for the, all the road work projects and everything, Billy, you want to add in?
Just for example, on the inspector side of things, this is not permit inspectors that go out. This is through engineering, the job inspectors. One of the reasons that we found out projects wasn't being done in-house more is because we don't have inspectors that go out and supervise these jobs. These are asphalt jobs that we just talked about earlier. We're gonna have, those are all being subbed out, basically. If we get some inspectors in-house, we'll be able to do some of these smaller projects in-house, and it'll save us a ton of money in the long run.
You got any other questions? Mr. LaFrance?
Yes, the solid waste driver, where they be, north or south?
South.
And they only getting 1? Okay.
Any other comments, questions?
No, sir.
All right. Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
K, an ordinance authorizing the parish president to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with Venture Global Plaquemines LNG LLC to construct and install warning sirens on various PPG-owned properties throughout Plaquemines Parish and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurisic. Talking to Venture Global, just to give public what's going on, is they are required to have certain types of warning systems overlapping, and they're paying for all these installation of sirens, and as with that agreement has given us permissions to use, let's just say, tornado warning or something like that to warn the public. But this is required by their permits, but it's no cost to the parish. It's just using our facilities to, and they will take care of maintenance. Thank you, Mr. Newsom. So no cost to the parish at all. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
L, an ordinance to officially rename Highway 15, Point LaHash, Louisiana to Sergeant Paul Narcisse Memorial Highway, authorizing the installation of street signs there, therefore authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to notify the United States Postal Service, the Plaquemines Parish Register of Voters, and the Louisiana Department of Transportation of the changes, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
and I think that's something.
You got offered. Offered by Ms. Edwards, I'll second. Any comments from the audience? Or you want to make a,
Yeah, and I think this is, Mr. Ptolemy did this as a resolution. And so there's a lot of citizens who live on Highway 15 want to put Sergeant Paul Narcisse, and if they Uber, they couldn't do it. So this is to make sure that it would be official.
all right.
And I know you were part of that, Mr. Brox. So that's what this is all about, making it official now. So when you Google in Sergeant Paul Narcisse, it will show up.
Any comments from the audience? From the administration? Mr. Koknovich?
That doesn't guarantee MAP is gonna put you, because you could put the Croatian Way and it doesn't go anywhere.
Well, it came up, Croatian Way came up because that's what I tested.
No, 'cause
I tested it, no. We put Croatian Way in and it showed up. cause that was the one that tested it
That
before I
was
did.
brought up at the meeting the other day, because it's,
Well, it came up when we Googled it, cause Tasha and I did it. When we put it in, Croatia will show up on Google.
Wasn't in Croatia, was it?
Your face was like,
No, we did it based on his ordinance, and it came up. So y'all probably need a better carrier.
All right,
Right, you spelled it right.
any other comments?
Oh, he didn't know.
Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
M, a resolution to rescind, annul, and set aside resolution number 2181, which authorized President Kirk M. Lapine to contact the Louisiana State Legislature to officially rename Highway 15 to Sergeant Paul Narcisse Memorial Highway and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
You offer?
Yes.
Offered by Ms. Edwards. Do I have a second? I'll second. Any comments from the audience? Administration?
And
Lapine.
it should be, President Hinckley got Lapine in there.
It was under, when it was passed, it was under Mr. Lapine. So we're good. Any comments from the audience, or, table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
A resolution to appoint the district-run replacement member to the Plaquemines Parish Zoning and Planning Development Board and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
So offered.
Offered by Ms. Edwards. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Nope. Yes or no? All right. Any comments from the administration?
I would say that this is a very controversial figure that I'm praying, but I figure we can take all the stuff off him. So I'm recommending Mr. Clarence Brock. So I figure, that'd be a great position for him to be on. And we know him. I don't think y'all
I'm
want to
looking
know
here.
him.
Okay. I was like, wait, what? All right. Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Brock.
Next item, please.
P, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, upgrade Ironton Park project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
So offered.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
R, a resolution to accept the portion bid of Hillcorp Energy ILP for mineral lease purposes on Parish Track 24-1 covering parish-owned property located in all the portion of Section 17, Township 21 South, Range 27 East, Buras Levy District, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, estimated to contain approximately 36 acres out of a total 392 of acres, more or less, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Offered by Ms. Cognish, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0 with one abstention from Mr. Cognish. Next item, please.
S, an ordinance to amend the 2024 Public Health Fund revenue and operating expenditure budgets, ambulances, general department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Offered by Mr. Cognish, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
T, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, replace Fort Jackson Bridge project, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Offered by Mr. Cognish, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
D, a resolution authorizing the parish president or his designee to do all things necessary and proper to negotiate, execute, perfect, and enforce a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Croatian American Society and otherwise provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kokavich.
All right.
Add 2 light plants.
Two light plants.
I didn't hear you.
He would like to add 2 light plants.
But that I'll offer.
Offer with the amendment by Ms. Skogovich. Second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. On the amendment.
I didn't introduce.
Next item. Yeah, we now got to vote on as amended. Machines are open as amended. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
10, approval of the minutes from the March 14th, 2024 regular meeting.
Offered by Mr. Jurisic, second by Ms. Skogovich. What? B?
That's what we just voted on.
It was a V, they had it wrong. That was a V.
All right, offered by Ms. Skogovich, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 9-0. Next item, please.
11, new business. 11A, there are no items under 11A. 11B, District 7 update. Councilmember LaFrance, Diamond Park, Diamond Road.
Yes, Diamond Road,
Wait, hold on. There you go.
it's still holding some water.
I noticed that the other day when I went down there.
Okay,
We're gonna mark those spots when it's wet and then go back and catch those other spots.
okay, great.
That was on the riverside, right? Is that what you're talking about? There's a long stretch along the riverside that I saw.
Yeah, but there's some, right where we have that boat, right on the north side of the park.
Okay.
And that spot, it holds water also.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Did that boat come out of that property they just cleared right there?
yeah.
Any other comments? All right, next item, please. Next.
C, District 3 update, discussion on government budget.
I think we're all pretty much aware at this point where we stand with our undesignated, so, I mean, we're approaching hurricane season, just be aware of that. Anything that we need to pay for, will have to come out of emergencies if it's not already budgeted. But I also want to have everybody kind of get together with Mr. Hinckley and stuff, maybe set priorities once rollover hits and for next year's budget where we can kind of be ahead of the game. So just be aware of that. That's my only comment. Anybody else has a comment on that? All right, next up, Mr. Edwards, hold on.
Yeah, and I guess because I'm a newbie, because I went over to finance to try to understand this undesignated fund, and I'm just hoping that we can be very serious about that, because I was still concerned how we're using emergency funds, and my understanding that a lot of people looking at the world, we having to roll over the tax and they say, well, we can replace it. But remember, that's something we got to continuously do.
Correct.
So I think just to come in right now and putting it in, so I hope at some point, as we go through the year, that we don't be coming up with stuff that we know not in there. And we have to go to the emergency fund. And even though people saying, well, when the rollover comes, we just replace it. But you're still taking money in from a lot of, allowing a lot of other district a chance to really participate in a real good way.
All right, next item, please.
E, District 8 update, discussion on vegetation in the Ali Canal.
Yes.
Mr. Hewitt. There you go.
Me and Councilmember Newsom get quite a few calls on the vegetation in the Ollie Canal. We know it's not restricting the flow of the water, but the residents, feel like they looking at, more and more weeds, more and more growth, and they hear that the turtles can't even get in the water because they can't get through the vegetation. So, but it is something that needs to be looked at. And in light of that, Councilmember Konovich had mentioned to me, and he's gonna say it, that we look into what happened at Fort Jackson, and the guy, we could possibly use a company that did the moat around Fort Jackson. And Councilmember Konovich, you want to go on?
Yeah, I talked to him a while back, and he said he'd be willing to come give you a price on any pond, canal that's full of lilies. He did a real good job at the fort. Still don't have no lilies back in it. Just have some slime. I've been putting some chemical in, but
If I'm not mistaken,
Company-
it was
company's
very reasonable.
company name was Weed Out. And I have his contact.
Yeah, we'll get together on that. So any option is a welcome, but just remember, I think that's the only place on the south of Myrtle Grove that has lilies. None of the other canals down there have a lily issue. It's only on the northern end you have lily issues on both sides of the river. But yeah, no, if they can knock it out and it's reasonable, and you guys ultimately decide what's reasonable. So yeah, we'll welcome any person that thinks they have an idea to get them out.
And it's not just lilies, it's cattails and all starting to grow and encroach more in the canal itself. So, thank you. And no, I get it first. I get it first.
Mr. Edwards?
Well, what you see what just happened.
Hey, you started earlier.
What Mitch did, but I want to go back because I'm really confused. And Mr. Konovich saying, somebody who's done it, can do it, and it worked well. That's what I'm hearing you saying. And we need to contract with him. Am I understanding that? Who is he?
Guy that owns Weed Out.
Okay.
His name is, he goes in, he takes everything out the water, and
Okay. Yeah, and I hope we can do that. And if I could be second to Mitch, because obviously, he got the hookup, and I'll throw in a towel on that. But just think about me, Mitch.
I'm thinking about you.
All right.
Don't worry. You think about me too, Ryan. Remember that.
I got you, bro. I got you.
We got Wash Master and Weed Out. We got
All right.
I get the weed out.
Any other comments? All right, do I have a motion?
adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Cognizant for adjournment, second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Ms. McCarty stepped away. We have adjournment at 3:34 PM.